Welcome to another episode of Platr Talk. I am Abdulalim from Platr, and with me is the CEO of Interface Africa, Amin Idris. It's nice to have you on the show today.
Nice joining in. Thank you. So, well, I've always had this interest around technology generally. Technology, especially around problem solving using technology, and that led me to studying computing in school to see how practical the application of these technologies can be, especially. So, sometime around 2014, we got engaged in a challenge. They call it Startup Weekend. So we just got put together, group of friends, different schools came together and tried solving problems using technology, societal problems generally. So we just look at the society over a weekend, and see what problem can we solve using technology, and then we over the weekend hack something together and then put it out there. So that particular weekend, a week before actually, a child um, got closed in a school bus. Got left out in the school bus, and I went to school in the UAE, and it gets particularly hot during summers. So a couple of minutes went by, an hour or so, and the child died of heat exhaustion. So
Tragic.
so we came together as friends and said, okay, how do we try to address a problem like this? And we came up with something called a kids tracker. It's a simple bracelet you can put on your child. It monitors their temperature, monitors their location, so that when they get left behind, maybe in the mall or in the car park or somewhere, you know exactly where your child is, if he's running temperature and things like this. Just simple basic IoT stuff, and then location-based service around it. And and that was the start for me. And I saw the application, went out, got the challenge nationally, and we came second. We got a lot of credits from the local newspapers to then support from the startup ecosystem. And over time, we just kept on going. We realized how hard hardware can be. At that point, so we couldn't really take it further. But then, of course, we can always apply more technologies to these societal problems and then take them on. So, after about a year or so, I had this choice of staying back and then try to figure some things out there, or working in this offer I got with an aviation company down there in Dubai. But then I realized that it was the wake of an agricultural revolution in Nigeria. There was a lot of activity in the agricultural space around 2015, 2016, but it lacks a lot of data. And I have friends over here that are already solving things around that, and they share the kind of unique insights they have around how data and the usage of data can be applied to solve problems, especially around agricultural space, from beneficiary identification to mapping farmers, asset monitoring, and then satellite imageries and whatnot around it. So so we came back, did a couple of more projects around data for last mile distributions and markets, and and from there, we realized that okay, we can't just keep on going project after project after project. How do we platformize all that we have learned and have a plug and play system whereby people can then ride on to deliver value, be it government, be it development partners, be it private institutions that want to address market challenges, particularly in underserved markets across sub-Saharan Africa. So and that gave birth to Interface as it is now. It's an attempt to platformize all those attempts to digitize and have this data of all these different sectors, yeah, and getting other businesses to ride on it and build further. Um, I would like to believe I'm quite agile with not just leadership, but I see it more as a collaborative effort, bringing together. Of course, you need someone that will put a roadmap ahead or guide the way along the ways. But I see I see our team more as a collaborative effort. Everyone has having this unique skill set that they are bringing. I absolutely believe every single skill set on our team is much better than I am in that particular skill set. So my leadership style is how do I put together the puzzle, yeah, identify strengths of bringing the team together, also know how best to engage them, you know, by one, everyone having a piece of this cake we are trying to, this pie we are trying to make, it becomes more of an ownership thing. You own it, you feel a part of it, you feel like, okay, if this grows to be something big, you are a part of this. You get rewarded based on the amount of input you have and also the result generated. So I would like to believe people, based on their own personal interests, can be self-motivated to drive things further, because I see us creating a lot of value going forward, and I see ourselves capturing some of that value, and also I see ourselves breaking those value points we've gathered into points that can be allocated to each team member, and everyone will be better off for it. So basically, self motivation, self driven, and then piecing the puzzle and putting everyone together to arrive at this critical mission we have um, in our front, basically.
So if I understand your leadership style, it would be identifying every team member's strength. You know that, okay, for anybody that is going to be coming on your team,
Mm.
that means they are bringing something that you most likely are not grounded on. So
Absolutely.
if they are bringing that,
Mm.
then you let them also feel a part of it by giving them a section of it for them to own. Okay, this is you. This is, you give them their, you let them have that part of it, and you let them work freely. And your work is just to look for how their value
Mm.
that they are bringing in terms of skill
Mm.
just fits into the puzzle of the solution you're trying to create or the entity you're trying to build.
Oh yes, that was perfectly put. Yeah, getting the piece of the puzzle, putting it together, and then getting compensated accordingly based on effort. I want to believe that every person or every individual that comes on board that, has some level of expertise, world class excellence or expertise on that sphere that can bring. I want to believe that uh, on a parallel universe, this is someone I should be working for. Well, my routine is quite nimble, more private than most people would think. While trying to be the interface, as the CEO of interface, I should, as an individual, see myself as an interface myself, trying to bring together all these different businesses and putting them together. That means I have to be interfacing with a lot of people every single day. So how I frame it is, I wake up in the morning, I pray. Then we have this Quran cycle we have very early in the morning. Try to attend it 6 to 7, and then from 7, try to put in some work up until like 10. Then that's the time I allocate my block deep work to, as
Okay.
much as possible. Minimal distraction, minimal phone calls, minimal interaction with people. So 7 to 10, get that done, and then from 10 we can start taking up meetings, going out, meeting people, bringing people in and interacting. Uh, Down to taking people to dinner and all that. So it's an all day thing, you know
Mhm.
all the interaction going from place to place, lunch meetings, dinner meetings, off-site meetings, on-site meetings. So it's mostly interfacing with different people, the partners, be it government organizations, be it businesses themselves, to see, okay, how can we collaborate on things and work out,
Just
basically.
as you've taken a piece of today's pie and you've given it to Platter, Thank you very much.
It's a whole platter,
I see what you did there. So, if I hear you correctly, your morning time is the most important time for you, because like it gives you less. That's the time that you interact with people less, so you get to like work on things that are not going to require you to like interface with more people. So between the hours of 7 to 10, like your time,
Yes, so I'm a believer of deep work.
deep work.
Yeah. So the whole concept of deep work is when you block hours and then concentrate on a task and then try as much as you can to execute on that task
Okay.
over a block time. So there's something called flow. Like, okay, how do you get in the flow? And it takes you maybe about 15, 20 minutes to really get into flow, and then the creative juice gets you get
Juicy.
to make, yeah, you get to milk it
Okay.
at that point, yeah, when you are actually concentrated in this amount of work and you're putting it in, and then that's where I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound narcissistic, but that's when one gets to be a genius in essence, yeah. You can't get you can't create so the best songs, the best art, the best piece of paintings can't be created except for a very few cases or except for a very few people. Okay, I would. Is this all part of the interview? I'm trying to not get distracted. So how this whole thing works is, so do you know the difference between creatives and artists?
You tell me.
Okay, so creatives have a process around what they do, and artists are just gifted naturally. So if you are not really that gifted naturally, as I would like to believe I'm not as gifted, on the IQ level as many other people on the bandwidth of work I'm trying to do. So you have to use your creativity to actually put in the work for you to be on that level of creativity as people that get it naturally. So you need so if someone gets to create art just basically by thinking of songs and putting them together and just freestyling it, some others have to put in the hard work of knowing the creative process around it and then knowing the trend, knowing how to go about it, knowing the beats that works and all that.
Wanted to give our viewers something to talk about.
Okay.
So who would you say? Wait now, I will get there. We are going to get there. We are going to get there. We are going to do two of it.
Mm.
So I want you to tell me. You brought up Messi and Ronaldo for football. So what would you? Which are you going to?
So you know Messi is an artist. It's no when you from the little I know from football, when you look at how the ball sticks to his leg, you know there's no attempt around it. It flows naturally in him. It's fluid. You can see it. And as Ronaldo plays, you can see the hard work being put in with the shots, with the dribbles, with the headers.
So
You
he
know
has a
that.
process.
Yeah, he has a process around it.
But Messi is just like,
It's
I got
natural.
this. It's
It
in
flows.
me. They
Yeah,
better me with
yeah,
this.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
if you want to get on that Messi level, you have to be on
Put in
that Cristiano
Ronaldo work.
level of work.
We are going to do Davido and Wizkid now.
But do you
Davido and
believe
Wizkid, please.
that's controversial?
Davido and Wizkid.
That's what we want. We need views. We need views.
You say Davido and Wizkid. Just Davido or Wizkid. You don't have to explain it.
Okay.
Just pick one. Davido, Wizkid.
Whiskey, of course.
Wizkid.
Babala. At the risk of sounding a bit cliche, I would love to say the vision for Interface Africa is to be the interface for Africa. So what that means is to be the touch point for businesses, governments, or development partners trying to do anything in Africa. Their source of their single source of truth around data and insights on the African market, um, how best to address challenges and how best to capture value out of it. So that's the grand vision. across the African market. Right now, we started with the energy sector, providing last mile connections to upgrade communities. So what that means is solar home systems for small homes, small businesses, small farm fields that otherwise don't have lights at all. So the energy poverty in Africa is quite huge. The need is dire. So we found that as a pivotal point, or as an anchor that we can use to then bundle other sectors across board on.
Success stories that you say you have to tell, and what are those UVPs, your unique value propositions, that have helped you to get those stories that we'll be talking about?
All right. So as for the success, we like to look at it quantitatively and then qualitatively.
Okay.
So quantitatively, yeah, it's nice to put out there. It looks nice on the deck that we have processed 100,000 or hundreds of thousands of payments for people that are making payments online or through channels for the first time. For the most part, we have connected over 30,000 homes and small businesses to solar lamps. We have also saved over 25,000 metric tons of carbon emission through our efforts by replacing fossil power generators, candle lamps, lanterns, and all that, using solar home systems we distribute and collect for. But then what we find the most value in is the lives we touch while doing that. It's one thing to say we have powered 30,000 homes, but it's another thing entirely to see how the the quality of life of those people on the individual level has changed due to our deployment or our interaction with them. So this can be applied to a business that used to close by 6 but now closes by 10. Increased productivity, increased income for the business owner. They can now collect POS payments or card payments from their customers because they have a way to charge their phones, charge their POS, stay more connected with their customers, and all that. So when you look at things like that, you look at also the households that have been powered, safer households, cleaner households, more healthier households, households that are using lamps that are solar powered, less likely to report cases like tuberculosis, for example, in their children, or kerosene ingestion for their children, because as you don't have to have bottles of kerosene lying around that gets some. How we store them, it's quite bad. And number one cause for food poisoning in children in Nigeria is kerosene ingestion, because of the way we store kerosene and they mistake them for water or for 7 Up or something and then take it. So like when you look at the drastic measures we have taken, or the improvement in the lives of people, the improvements in the quality of life and their healthcare and their uh, and access to education as well. Like, okay, children can now study at night and all that because of the deployment of lamps. It then feels
Fulfilling.
more fulfilling to a greater extent than just the huge numbers of saying, okay, we've done this over 100 communities across Nigeria. Well, that's fulfilling. That puts us on the map, literally. But the individual accomplishments is what we. And then the challenges, of course, in the Nigerian market, is quite challenging to say the least. But it's something we've been trying to surmount over time. Financing might be a problem, but there are a lot of green energy financing coming.
Initiatives.
Yeah, coming together, and then when you get exposed to opportunities like that, it unlocks a lot of value for you. For example, I was at COP27 in Egypt and then COP28 in Dubai, and most of the conversation was centered around loss and damage funding. Okay, how do we hold companies and countries accountable for their emission and the costs around climate change and climate issues for the most vulnerable parts of the society? You know, so so funding around that can help in complementing the amount of work we are doing to actually get this product accessible to these communities that deserve them the most. So that's a challenge, and that's how we are planning to address it going forward. So I like to, with all sense of humility, say we haven't seen anyone do this level of granularity in data as much as we provide. You get a lot of reports around, okay, number of households, number of people out of light, number of farmers and whatnot. But then when you dive deeper into it, you look at the sample size that made that report come together, you realize that not much has been put in, not enough work rather has been put in to arrive at that conclusion. Uh, what we're trying to do currently is we're trying to say, for example, a community in Katsina like Malumfashi or Kuki or anywhere, you can have a look at it and see these are the number of households there, these are the number of farmers, these are the number of productive use equipments they use, maybe for their agribusinesses or to power their shops. These are the number of people out of light, or this is the amount of electricity they get on the grid, and then you can subdivide them, sub-allocate, sub-cluster all of these different components, and then allocate resources to them. So that level of individualistic granular data set that will give you a full story on how to best deploy resources in the African market is something we are yet to see other people do at that level. So I think that's a unique one for you. The technology market generally is a winner take all.
Yeah.
So if you try to capture enough value, the person that comes second, or the business that comes second, comes a distant second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So search engine, Google is number one. The second have to be very distant. Microblogging, Twitter is number one. The second has to be very distant, and all that, because it has this one network effect. It has ripple effect. It has by just being on there, you can't have the seconds of them being as closer as the generally the technology market is not a very competitive one, because if you look at Airbnb, what's your second Airbnb? Do you know? I mean, um, except for maybe market peculiar cases, Uber, Bolt might be a distant second globally, but then locally here you can see the competition. Yeah, Lyft, which is not even available in these markets. So but globally, Uber is one. WeWork is one.
We even call
Airbnb is one.
we even call both Uber sometimes.
Exactly.
Just like Indomie and noodles.
Exactly. So search engine is now synonymous with Google.
Google.
Yeah.
Check Google.
Check Google. Even if you are using Bing or anything else.
Check Google. Platr, as you know, it is a solution-based firm entity for for entrepreneurs generally in Africa. Nigeria is our like start point. But what Platr stands for is to create solutions to see, okay, what are the problems that entrepreneurs are facing collectively in whatever aspect, and see what solution can be provided for said entrepreneurs. And then from the struggles of learning the journey of entrepreneurs to know how to best provide solutions for them, Platr came up with an initiative of Platr Business to help SMEs manage their businesses properly with a storefront where they can create their web shop themselves. You don't have to create like your website by yourself. Just come on Platr and create your website through Platr. So you have like a online website, a web shop basically that you can sell, and that you can sell through, interact with your customers. Apart from the web shop, it also has inventory management, order management, financial analysis, your financial management. So it helps SMEs generally to put their business all in one place and be able to properly manage it. And that's just a few of the things that are going to be integrated into the Platr business. There are a lot more to come, but for now, that is what Platr business is. So how do you see us bringing Platr business across to Interface Africa to create a collaboration?
So I believe the spirit of collaboration is the most important thing when it comes to collaboration. When you have the same aim, it then becomes easier for you to get married, for example. So I see this marriage as that of convenience, because at our core, we, when I say we, both Interface and Platr are about self-actualization for people, for businesses. Yeah, everyone has dreams, everyone has ambitions, and at the core of what we do is how do we enable these businesses to actualize those dreams and bring them to life. Yeah. So over time, what we've been doing is we've been collecting a lot of data, and we go back to update them with these different businesses. Yeah. And but we have this quadrant we are working on, which is we have insights on one hand, and then we have real time above it. So right now we're having static insights on these businesses. We know what they are, we know what they do, we know what over time they have. Yeah. But if you want to have relatively real time data on these people, it then changes the whole dynamics of the value you can offer to them. So for example, we go to a place, we know they have a meshai, someone that sells tea in the locality. It's a good place to interact. That's where people go to at night and interact and get things done, and discover new things in the society. That's where the news spreads from. It's like the nucleus of that society. And then these businesses, we take lights to them, for example, and then we power them. They now have a brighter, safer environment that they can as well charge their phone while taking their tea and sharing that and all that. But we don't know what happens beyond what they have currently of that. Okay, this is a business being put up with the lights and all that. But that partnership with Platr will put us in a position to say, okay, or to know rather, um, how many cartons of Indomie did they consume that week? How many crates of egg? How many? So their financial analysis, yeah, their their inventory. How best to optimize their inventory better for them? How do you give them loans or financial products around inventory facilitation or financing? How do we enable them to access more products or services, even on the green economy, like solar powered freezers? Okay, they consume these liters of milk or these crates of egg. How do you power
Preserve
them
it.
and preserve them? Things around that. So I see that of I see our values or our or what we tend to create out of this partnership. So okay, what I see here is 1 plus 1 equals 10. Yeah, because we are here doing this on this level, creating this amount of value, and you are here doing this on this level and creating this finite level of value. Us coming together is something that will exponentially drive the amount of value we can jointly create by giving real-time accessible data and insight on these markets, so that the markets themselves, those are the people we serve, the businesses, can better optimize, reducing their costs and also aggregate their demands, increasing what they earn from it. So it's a win for us as Interface, win for us as well, since we are coming this together as
Yeah.
Platr, and then win for the businesses that we are powering with this and the ecosystem at large. I think first and foremost, okay, So when you're a carpenter, all you see is a hammer. So I would like to say collaborate as much as you can. There's a lot of value that comes with collaboration, be it around your inventory, you know, especially young entrepreneurs. Our resources are finite. Um, so we have very limited resources, and how much value can you create with what you have, so try as much as you can to attract resources, especially around win-win collaborative efforts. Let's say, okay, um, you have a shop, you're a tailor, for example, but you don't have the money to finance inventory around materials and sell to people. How do you work with these people that can finance your inventory? You get paid by your customers, you put together their work, and maybe your work is around you are more you are more yeah, but, you have more value around putting the work out there and creatively pushing your work out there than the person in quarry market that has all the materials in the world, but can't just put it out there for the world to see. So 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 I think we all can leverage on each other's resources, create win-win solutions for each other, and then collaborate on it and drive that. But we are lucky to have people that supported us from day one, to show us the way, to guide us, to put us through, to make this work shorter for us, So collaboration is one. Definitely a second is mentorship. Mentorship. Try as much as you can to have people you can mirror, and these are not people um, that you should be looking from afar. Try as much as you can to get closer to them and also see how their internal working is. Try as much as you can to show them that you are about learning. You want to learn from them. You've seen what they've done, and you want to learn and somewhat create something of similar value to what they have created. And for the most part, I find them very, very accommodating, in as much as people will say people don't really support. But over time, I've done this time and again, and I think some of the closest people to me on business endeavors right now are people I met on the streets of Abuja. Like, I've seen your interview somewhere. I've seen, can we, can I learn more from you? You shared something about this. Can you tell me more about it? Can you do this? And then over time, they see the curiosity around it, and they tend to support and push us further.
I think personally, I would also want to add one to that. Talking about mentorship and all of that, I feel personally my first go-to is always research. That when you do research, when you're curious about something, entrepreneur or not, like whatever you do, making research as it puts you ahead of your peers. Like a lot of people are doing a lot of similar things. It does not have to be in your region and all of that. So if you're able to like get data is very important. If you're able to like mine data from something that someone has done, puts you years ahead of them. It doesn't make you be on the same level that they are, but it just kind of like just helps you. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it just helps you. It puts you at that place where okay, somebody has tried this thing I'm about to try, and they have failed, and they have like data that they used to back it up. So if I take it from like a different approach, it probably would work better than it did work for this person.
Exactly. So you know exactly what worked for these people and what didn't. You know, it can be across different markets, but some of these things are universal. And that's something I find very interesting about books, especially biographies of entrepreneurs that have that have left a mark. You know, books like Shoe Dog, books like Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. Like, they are deep dives on these people and how they came about some of these things and how the journey of discovery is for them. So you get to learn a lot, over a week or two, over 300, 400 pages. You get to learn a lot from a journey of like
Somebody's
40, 50 years. Yeah, yeah.
years.
Okay, my vision for Africa is Increase productivity. That's one, because most of our challenges are tied to that lack or inadequacy of our level of productivity as a continent. When you look at our power generation or power consumption level, of course, every indices of development is tied to the amount of power or energy they generate or they consume as a community or as a society or as a continent. So one is to create that increase in GDP. So I would like to see myself as a definite optimist. So a definite optimist is someone that believes in a brighter future ahead and feels like there is some amount of work that needs to be put in to achieve that. So in as much as I see a brighter future, I also feel like we need to put in some amount of work to
Achieve the future.
realize that dream we have. So, and I think it starts with energy. you know it increases productivity across board, from SMEs to agribusiness to manufacturing to all the different components of development, to the skill level of the populace, to everything that drives the society further. So, and once we have that increase in productivity, it increases our income. So, and of course, it comes with its own ripple effect, which is reduced insecurity, reduced migration, reduced poverty across board, hunger and all that. So my vision, more or less, is around increasing productivity, which results to increase in income in the African continent. It's a question I got to ask myself sometime last year. We got an acquisition offer, and it came like this. It wasn't directly an acquisition offer. We were having a conversation around some of the work we were doing with someone, and the interests were so aligned, wanted to work together, but the rights and all that, the IPs and all, were overlapping, and they just felt like, okay, maybe let's just buy out these guys. And they asked me a question, rather, she asked me a question directly and said, um, how much do you feel that if you have right now, you are good for life? And I answered it in a way. I said, okay. So when we wanted to attack this problem, we saw it from two different angles. We could have just done SaaS, B2B, you know, um, for different businesses. They get to pay us good amount, maybe $100,000, $200,000 a year, and then we get 100 of those businesses and make $20 million a year. Good money, life changing for me, and for most people around 99.9999% of Nigerians or whoever, anywhere in the world, it's life changing. But then we felt like, okay, why don't we be a player in the market, be the interface around this market, and as every transaction flows, we capture some of it. And now you're not talking about 20, $100 million. You're talking about a billion in transaction. People spent $10 billion last year on generators in Nigeria, from fuel to servicing to maintenance to everything. And now, if you are about to generate the same amount of electricity in kilowatt hours, you have to spend at least 4 times that because of subsidy removal. So you're looking at $40 billion this year being spent on fossil powered alternatives, and that's the kind of market I'm looking at. But is the primary motivation around that money? I don't want to believe so. I feel like there is a higher purpose to what we are trying to build, which is the activation of the individual or business on that level to enable them increase their productivity and have a more fulfilling, more healthy, and more income generated around their life.
Sustainability, basically.
Yeah, you can call that sustainability, a more sustainable drive around their income generally.
I feel like that's major. Netflix or the cinema?
I mean, Netflix. I'm an indoor person, please. I
Mm.
try to like all week. I move around a lot, so when I want to relax, the last thing I want to do is move out. So,
Croissant or pizza?
I love my croissant.
Croissant. Tea or coffee?
I'm a tea person, heavy tea drinker.
Mhm. Welcome home. A bungalow or a duplex?
A duplex. Oh,
Why?
oh yeah, I love the balcony. I just love good
Okay.
views.
Vacation within Nigeria or outside Nigeria?
Japa.
So you know, would you say okay? Would you want to go when you travel? Do you like activity? How do I phrase this now? A relaxation or activity based
I love
vacations?
activities. I love activities a lot when I travel. Like
Skydiving or bungee jumping?
skydiving.
Have you tried skydiving
I
before?
haven't tried either. I've parasailed and I found it very underwhelming. I just felt like I was on a balcony, just
Yeah,
on a 30th
it
floor on
wasn't
100.
fulfilling.
Yeah, there wasn't that adrenaline jump, that I
Yeah.
expected.
Mm.
So I just felt like, oh, this is just me floating around, looking at the world, nothing.
City or country?
Mm, Countrysides. Uh, Country.
So you want to be around trees, no
Yeah,
skyscrapers and all that.
nice resorts, uh, especially somewhere with a good beach,
Okay.
nice villas. That person.
You like the nicer, finer things of life.
I love the fine things in life.
I like the fine things in life.
I love it.
All right. Thank you so much for granting us the interview today. We know you have like a very busy schedule, and we are very glad that you are able to be here to give us the time. To learn about Interface Africa, to know more about them, you can visit their Instagram page. Check out the Platter's YouTube channel for the complete interview. Thank you so much for watching this. See you on the next one.